Some people celebrate their birthday like it's the biggest event of the year. Crowds, balloons, laughter filling the room. From a distance, it almost looks perfect, like life is happening beautifully for someone else. But for others, the day is quiet. A single candle, a small table, no messages, no noise, just a silence so heavy it almost echoes. For them, a birthday is nothing but a date on a calendar. No circle around it, no excitement, no reason to look forward. And the story behind this begins long before adulthood. Imagine a small child sitting at a birthday table decorated with hope. Balloons trembling in the corner, a cake waiting to be cut. Tiny hands waiting for guests who never arrive. The room stays empty, the chairs stay untouched, and that child learns something painful. Sometimes the happiest days can turn into the loneliest memories. As years pass, that single candle becomes a reminder, not of wishes, but of disappointments. Memories blur, but emotions stay sharp. They whisper quietly, "Don't expect too much. It's safer not to care." Psychologists call this learned helplessness, when repeated disappointment trains the mind to stop hoping. Not because joy is impossible, but because the heart is tired of being hurt. And that's why, for some people, a birthday feels like any other day. Not because they're cold, not because they're broken, but because once upon a time, caring came with a cost. And this is only one kind of story. There are others, stories that might sound uncomfortably close to your own. Life doesn't always ignore your birthday. Sometimes it simply gets too loud for you to hear it. There are people who wake up with good intentions. Maybe they'll celebrate later, maybe they'll plan something small, but the moment their eyes open, the world rushes at them. Papers, deadlines, responsibilities swirling around like a storm they can't step out of, notifications buzzing, tasks piling up, thoughts racing faster than time itself. They move through their day like a stick figure lost in a chaotic sketch, pulled in every direction, overwhelmed, stretched thin. And while the world keeps demanding more, their mind keeps giving more. Hours slip away without warning. Morning turns into evening before they even look up, not because they forgot their birthday, but because their brain is drowning in everything else. This is what psychologists call time blindness. When your mind is so overloaded that even special moments melt into nothing. The clocks start to feel distorted, melting and bending around you, and the day you thought would be meaningful becomes a blur. They don't walk through their birthday. Their birthday quietly passes by them, like a tiny cupcake left on the side of the road, unnoticed, untouched, overshadowed by everything happening around it. And if you look closely, these aren't careless people. These are the strong ones, the responsible ones, the quiet supporters who carry more than they ever admit. They're the type who help others celebrate. But when it's their turn, they're too drained to lift their own candle. It's not that they don't want joy. It's not that they don't deserve it. It's simply that life has become so heavy that celebrating themselves gets pushed to the very bottom of their list. Their birthday doesn't feel ignored. It feels swallowed by the noise they've learned to survive. Some people don't celebrate their birthday for a reason that has nothing to do with sadness and nothing to do with being forgotten. It's because they've quietly grown past the need for celebration itself. There's a moment, a quiet moment, when a person looks at their birthday and feels nothing. Not emptiness, not excitement. Just calm acceptance, like a stick figure standing alone under a soft, cloudy sky, aware of the date, but unbothered by it. They walk past decorations, past candles, past the little symbols that once mattered, not because they're numb, but because their worth no longer depends on these things. They've outgrown the old version of themselves who needed applause, gifts, or attention to feel special. Psychologists call this emotional independence. The moment when your validation comes from the inside, not from the world around you. These people don't wait for others to acknowledge them. They don't measure love by how many people show up or how loud the celebration is. Their sense of worth glows quietly from within, like a soft light in the chest shining in a dark landscape. They stand on their own cliff of identity, strong against the wind, guided not by noise, but by inner clarity. They don't turn toward crowds holding gifts. They turn inward to a place where peace feels bigger than any party. While others chase attention, they chase alignment. While others want the stage, they want understanding. They choose silence not because they fear being seen, but because they no longer need to be. And in that silence, their birthday feels natural, normal, not ignored, not forgotten. Just another day in a life they already appreciate. Because when someone finds their happiness within, they don't need balloons or candles to prove their worth. Every ordinary day becomes a celebration of who they've become. Here's where the story becomes more personal, because the way you treat your birthday actually reflects the way you move through life. Some people avoid celebrating because they avoid attention in general. They're the quiet ones, the observers, the people who feel safer behind the scenes. Like a stick figure standing in the shadows, watching others celebrate from a distance. They don't dislike birthdays, they just don't like being the center of anything. Others skip birthdays because they prefer depth over noise. They don't want a crowd, they don't want chaos. They want quiet conversations, soft moments, and emotional clarity. Their idea of celebration isn't balloons, it's peace. And then there are people who appear indifferent, but deep down, they carry old wounds. Their birthday reminds them of moments that hurt, memories that never healed, and expectations that collapsed. Like a storm cloud hanging quietly above them, faint but impossible to ignore. But then, there are the ones who love celebrating. They thrive on connection, warmth, togetherness. A small candle shared with others feels like a little piece of belonging, something that says, I matter to someone. Your birthday attitude isn't random. It reveals your emotional blueprint, a map shaped by your past, your personality, and the way your heart learned to protect itself. If you prefer quiet, it might be because you find comfort in calm. If you avoid birthdays, it might be because they hold weight. If you celebrate loudly, it might be because connection fuels you. There is no right way to feel, no wrong way to exist. Every reaction has a story. Every choice has a reason. And sometimes the quietest people understand themselves the deepest. Your birthday isn't just a date. It's a mirror. And the way you respond to it quietly reveals the kind of life you're living. Some people celebrate loudly because they crave connection. They're fueled by togetherness, by warmth, by shared moments that remind them they're not alone. A small candle surrounded by others feels like belonging. Others avoid celebrating because they prefer peace. They don't want noise or crowds or attention. They want stillness. They want a quiet moment that feels real, not a performance they must smile through. And then, there are people who carry old wounds into the day. Their birthday becomes a reflection of every time they felt unseen, unimportant, or forgotten. It's not the day that hurts. It's the memories attached to it. And so they let the day pass quietly, because acknowledging it would awaken the shadows behind them. Some people don't celebrate because they don't have space. Life moves too fast, too loud, too demanding, Their birthday gets buried under responsibilities, lost in the noise of keeping everything running, but others treat their birthday like any other day because they've found meaning in the ordinary. They don't wait for a special date to feel alive. Every sunrise, every breath, every quiet moment becomes its own subtle celebration. Your relationship with your birthday is not random. It's a reflection of your past, your personality, your strengths, and the parts of you still healing. Two people can walk different paths under the same sky, and both be right, both be valid. Because a birthday doesn't define your worth. It simply reveals how your heart has learned to survive. If this journey made you see birthdays differently, then you're already closer to understanding yourself in a way most people never do. Because a birthday isn't just a celebration, it's a window showing you who you are, where you've been, and how your heart learned to feel. Maybe you realized you've been carrying old pain. Maybe you saw how life's noise has been drowning out your own needs. Or maybe you discovered that your quiet nature comes from emotional strength, not emptiness. Whatever you learned, it matters. It means you're paying attention to the parts of yourself that deserve to be understood, not ignored. And that's exactly what we do here. We decode the mind. We take the questions you've always had about yourself, about others, about the way people think, act, and feel, and we bring them to light. If this resonated with you, you are in the right place because your mind has depths you haven't explored yet, and your emotions have stories you're finally ready to hear. So before you leave this video, take a breath. Let the message settle. And if you want to go deeper into psychology, behavior, healing, and everything that shapes who we are, then subscribe. Join us. You're not alone in this journey. There are others here just like you. Curious, thoughtful, growing. This is Mind Decode, and this is just the beginning.